any other county in the country, are pronounced mozzarella, galamad, and prosciutto. All this is to say that if you're from Staten Island, other New Yorkers can usually detect it. On my first day at the High School of Telecommunication Arts and Technology in Bay Ridge, Brooklyn, several students wouldn't let me say more than a few sentences before interjecting, "Are you, from Staten Island?" Even though each inquiry lacked any hint of condescension, I still disliked being poked at as though I belonged not in homeroom, but in a cabinet of curiosities. Mind you, the ease with which people detected my roots didn't stop me from trying to obfuscate them, particularly as I got older. When I first started online dating, I listed my location on my OkCupid profile as New York, New York, despite living on Staten Island at the time. When rounds of messages led to in-person dates with women who lived in Manhattan or Brooklyn, I waited as long as possible before revealing what felt like a dirty secret, lest its reputation ruin my chances with them. While I no longer feel the need to hide my Staten Island roots in shame, I can't honestly say I regret this strategy since it just so happens I met my wife this way. I even tried to jettison my lingering Staten Island accent, paying particular attention to words that triggered native pronunciations. During the second week of my summer internship at Columbia University, a visitor asked me where the bathroom was, and with my boss in earshot, I reflexively replied, "Fourth floor." Mortified, I almost never dropped an R again. I say almost never, because it returns with a vengeance whenever I'm angry or surrounded by family. As the singer Kesha said, "We are who we are." Despite its less-than-ideal reputation and occasionally embarrassing idiosyncrasies, Staten Island was a fine place to grow up. I had a fairly typical childhood as part of an American middle-class family. I lived on a placid suburban street. Kids played kickball in the neighborhood park or in the street outside. At night, aside from the occasional cacophony of crickets and car alarms, it was dead quiet. I could even make out the stars, even with the dim street lamps switched on. On the day after Thanksgiving, our neighbors competed for the unspoken title of most decked-out home. Given that my family was Jewish, it was understood we weren't in the running, even if a plastic electric Hanukkah menorah in the window is a beautiful sight to behold in its own right. My mom, Linda, was a devoted homemaker, and my dad, Russell, was an optometrist. For fun, I would occasionally call his office and ask the receptionist if I could speak to Dr. Kateman, finding hilarity in the fact that such a jokester at home could somehow be taken seriously at work. This was the same man who told me that during graduate school he and his friends played catch with an eyeball that once belonged to a monkey. Like so many little boys, I grew up idolizing my dad. My older sister Jennifer did too. He was our hero, the smartest and funniest person we'd ever met. He worked long hours to pay the bills, always until late at night and more often than not on the weekends. My happiest memories are of him walking through the front door each night, meaning we could finally sit down and eat together as a family. And what did we eat? Meat. A lot of it. I made meatloaf, spaghetti and meatballs, pot roast, fried fish, sometimes lamb chops or beef stew, my mom recollects. Oh, sometimes you would help me make your favorite recipe. Chicken cutlet parmesan, she added with pride. My dad almost never prepared dinner, but when he did, it was always barbecued skirt steak on the outside grill. Meat and dairy were also prominently featured in our breakfasts and lunches. For breakfast, particularly on the weekends, it was bacon, eggs, grilled cheese sandwiches, steak and eggs, sausage patties, and bagels and lox. For lunch, Mom often microwaved pepperoni pizza, fish sticks, mac and cheese with hamburger meat, or fried chicken nuggets. Whenever we were eating, no matter the time of day, we were eating meat. As I grew older, I continued eating this standard American diet, SAD, SAD, that is the typical diet of the majority of Americans. Though it lacks a precise definition, it's generally high in red meat, poultry, seafood, and refined carbohydrates like white bread, sugar, flour, and white rice. Similar to my friends and family, I rarely ate fruit, vegetables, whole grains, or legumes, for example, beans and lentils. I had never even heard of quinoa. This all changed after a single airplane flight. While traveling from New York to Montana to present